It's been about a year since I installed solar on my ambulance, and since then I've made a couple big changes, a couple big additions. So I'm going to show you the whole system quickly from the top down. That's from the roof down to the latest additions. First off, the solar panels. First, let's start off with two 100-watt Renogy solar panels mounted on the roof. They are tiltable, and then they feed through the roof. There's a box underneath one of the panels that feeds the wires into the ambulance. The wires from the solar panels on the roof feed through the roof and then down in this bundle of wires through the ceiling and down to the charge controller. They come in right below the charge controller. It's a Renogy Rover Elite 40 amp MPPT charge controller. The charge controller then goes to this 12 volt 200 amp Ampertime LiFePO lithium battery. And this is something I installed recently. From the battery comes back inside the ambulance box. There is a cutoff switch here, kind of a safety or emergency switch. And there's the safety switch, or the cutoff switch. And from there, the wires, you can see the black and red, come into this 3,000 watt inverter, which is also something new. Then there's a yellow, basically it's a heavy-duty extension cord plugged into the inverter, comes down around back here by the back doors, and then back behind all the stuff I got stored underneath the bed. So as I said, from that inverter, the yellow extension cord that's plugged into it, and there are other outlets or plugs on it I can also use. But that comes, like I said, around the back, up the side, and then over here to this extension cord that I can use to plug in different devices. Typically I've used it for a small heater, a few other small devices, you know, a coffee pot or other things that I can run off the solar. Then, as well as that extension cord from the inverter, is a remote switch that's plugged in that goes back behind this cabinet here and up the side, so I can turn the inverter on from up here instead of having to go down and reach underneath the bed, which is kind of nice. It does come with quite a long bit of cables, so I can mount this in different locations further away from the inverter if I'd like. As well as the that switch, I also do have a Bluetooth plugged into the charge controller, so I can monitor the charge controller on my phone, and that's also another nice feature of the Renogy charge controller. But that's it pretty much. The my system now, 200 watts on the roof, going to the charge controller, to the battery, to this inverter, which I purposely got a larger, the 3,000 watt inverter. It's a pure sine wave inverter, but I got this larger one so that I can expand and add more batteries, more solar panels, and just have more power in the future. For now though, this works pretty well, and that's kind of my system right now. I do, if I need to also, well, I do during the day run an electric fridge, which normally sits right here, but it's inside the house right now. Since I'm here for a while in Phoenix, I just took it out and plugged it into regular shore power, I guess you'd say, or household power. There, I can also monitor the battery and everything on that little box over there, along with on the charge controller. And it's hooked into also into this plug right here, which was already on the ambulance when I got it, connected into the solar system that was on it, an old solar panel. So this is always on as long as the solar panel and everything's plugged in, the battery and everything. I can plug in different items right here and run them off that as well. So that is a look at my system. I hope this has been informative or educational and maybe help somebody who's thinking about doing the same thing. You don't need a huge system, you know, especially in a vehicle like this. If I get out some land, homesteading or off-grid, then I will set up something larger, and I'm looking at something like that on a little trailer that I've got. I think I mentioned it in a previous video, putting some panels on it and kind of having a more mobile, portable system that I can use separate from the ambulance. And when I need the power in some remote locations, I just have that trailer sitting there producing power and ready to go. So that's it, and thanks for watching, and I'll try to post more as I work on this ambulance and get it ready for some more, or for some major trips that I've got coming around the country. Thanks for watching.